A computer screen showed her the list of callers on hold. She pushed line 2, which read, Marge, Mother-Daughter Probs. Hello and welcome, Marge. You're on the air with Nora Bridge. What's on your mind this evening?
Hello? Nora?
The caller sounded hesitant, a little startled at actually hearing her voice on air after waiting on hold for nearly an hour. Nora smiled, although only her producer could see it. Her fans, she'd learned, were often anxious. She lowered her voice, gentled it. How can I help you, my friend?
I'm having a little trouble with my daughter, Suki.
The caller's flattened vowels identified her as a Midwesterner. How old is Suki, Marge?
67 this November.
Nora laughed. I guess some things never change, eh, Marge?
Not between mothers and daughters. Suki gave me my first gray hair when I was 30 years old. Now I look like Colonel Sanders.
Nora's laugh was quieter this time. At 49, she no longer found gray hair a laughing matter. So, Marge, what's the problem with Suki?
Well,
Marge made a snorting sound.
Last week she went on one of those singles cruises. You know, the ones where they all wear Hawaiian shirts and drink purple cocktails. Anyway, today she told me she's getting married again to a man she met on the boat. At her age.
She snorted again, then paused.
I know she wanted me to be happy for her, but how could I? Suki's a flibbertigibbet. My Tommy and I were married for 70 years.
Nora considered how to answer. Obviously, Marge knew that she and Suki weren't young anymore, and that time had a way of pulverizing your best intentions. There was no point in being maudlin and mentioning it. Instead, she asked gently, Do you love your daughter?
I've always loved her.
Marge's voice caught on a little sob.
You can't know what it's like, Nora, to love your daughter so much and watch her stop needing you. What if she marries this man and forgets all about me?
Nora closed her eyes and cleared her mind. She'd learned that skill long ago. Callers were constantly saying things that struck at the heart of her own pain. She'd had to learn how to let it go. Every mother is afraid of that, Marge. The only way to really hold on to our children is to let them go. Let Suki take your love with her. Let it be like a light that's always on in the house where she grew up. If she has that for strength, she'll never be too far away. Marge wept softly.
Maybe I could call her, ask her to bring her boyfriend around for supper.
That would be a wonderful start. Good luck to you, Marge, and be sure and let us know how it all works out. She cleared her throat and disconnected the call. Come on, everybody, she said into the microphone. Let's help Marge out. I know there are plenty of you who have mended families. Call in. Marge and I want to be reminded that love isn't as fragile as it sometimes feels. She leaned back in the chair, watching as the phone lines lit up. Parenting issues were always a popular topic, especially mother-daughter problems. On the monitor by her elbow, she saw the words, Line 4, Trouble with Stepdaughter, Ginny. She picked up line 4. Hello and welcome, Ginny. You're on the air with Nora Bridge.
Hi. I love your show.
Thanks, Ginny. How are things in your family? For the next 2 hours and 13 minutes, Nora gave her heart and soul to her listeners. She never pretended to have all the answers or to be a substitute for doctors or family therapy. Instead, she tried to give her friendship to these troubled, ordinary people she'd never met. As was her custom, when the show was finally over, she returned to her office. There, she took the time to write personal thank you notes to any of those callers who'd been willing to leave an address with the show's producer. She always did this herself. No secretary ever copied Nora's signature. It was a little thing, but Nora firmly believed in it. Anyone who'd been courageous enough to publicly ask for advice from Nora deserved a private thank you. By the time she finished, she was running late. She grabbed her Fendi briefcase and hurried to her car. Fortunately, it was only a few miles to the hospital. She parked in the underground lot and emerged into the lobby's artificial brightness. It was past visiting hours, but this was a small, privately run hospital.